This chapter is about how the body receives information, processes it, and responds with precision. The nervous system is not just a control unit, it is the body's command network, linking sensing, thinking, action, memory, and coordination into one integrated system. The whole structure is built to receive signals, interpret them, and send the right output at the right time. The nervous system works through four broad functions. One part controls voluntary movement and balance. That means actions like walking, posture, and body position. Another part manages regulatory systems such as thermoregulation, circadian rhythm, hunger, and thirst. A third part supports involuntary vitality, handling organs like the lungs, heart, and kidneys. And the highest level handles vision, hearing, speech, memory, intelligence, emotions, and human behavior. That is the real command and control hub. The nervous system is not just about reflexes or movement. It also supports regulation and high-level cognition. The brain is protected by a multi-layered shield called the cranial meninges. From outside to inside, the layers are dura mater, arachnoid, and pia mater. Dura mater is thick and tough. Arachnoid is very thin and web-like. Pia mater is in direct contact with the brain tissue. A clean memory trick is DAP. Dura, arachnoid, pia. Outside to inside. That order matters because the meninges are not just coverings, they are protective layers that preserve the brain's hardware. The brain is commonly grouped into three major territories: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. The forebrain is the dominant mass. It includes the cerebrum, thalamus, and hypothalamus. The midbrain is the central core and includes the corpora quadrigemina and cerebral aqueduct. The hindbrain is the lower base and includes the pons, cerebellum, and medulla. This division is structural, not cosmetic. Each region has a distinct role, and later questions often test whether you know which function belongs to which region. The cerebrum is the largest and most prominent part of the brain. A deep cleft divides it into left and right hemispheres, and those hemispheres are linked by a nerve fiber tract called the corpus callosum. That connection is essential because the two halves do not work in isolation. They communicate continuously. The outer layer is the cerebral cortex, which is gray matter. It looks gray because of the high concentration of neuron cell bodies. This outer region contains motor areas, sensory areas, and association areas. These association areas are the ones that support complex functions like memory, communication, and integration of information. The inner core is white matter. It appears white because of the myelin covering the fiber tracts. So the cerebrum is not just large. It is organized into a gray outer processing zone and a white inner communication zone. The forebrain contains two key regulators, the thalamus and the hypothalamus. The thalamus acts as the relay station. It is the major coordinating center for sensory and motor signaling, and the cerebrum wraps around it. That position is important because it tells you the thalamus sits at the center of major information flow. The hypothalamus lies at the base of the thalamus and acts as the base controller. It regulates body temperature, hunger, and thirst. It also secretes hypothalamic hormones through specialized neurosecretory cells. Here's the high yield point. The hypothalamus is the physical bridge between the nervous system and the endocrine system. That connection is one of the most important integration points in human physiology. The limbic system is the emotional core of the brain. It emerges from the collaboration of the inner cerebral hemispheres, the amygdala, and the hippocampus. Together, they form the limbic lobe or limbic system. Its major outputs include regulation of sexual behavior, expression of emotional reactions such as excitement, pleasure, rage, and fear, and the generation of motivation. This is why the limbic system matters so much. It links emotion, memory, and drive into behavior. It does not just create feelings, it helps shape responses. And it works in collaboration with the hypothalamus, which is where emotion starts becoming bodily action. The midbrain is a bridge and a tunnel. It is sandwiched between the forebrain, especially the thalamus and hypothalamus, and the hindbrain, especially the pons. The cerebral aqueduct runs through its center, carrying fluid passage through the brain. And the corpora quadrigemina are four distinct round swellings or lobes on the dorsal side of the midbrain. The key memory line is simple. Quad means four. So corpora quadrigemina are the four dorsal lobes. That is the kind of detail NEET loves to convert into a direct factual question. The hindbrain controls the body's autopilot and balance. The pons is the connector. It contains fiber tracts that interconnect different regions of the brain. The cerebellum is the space maximizer. It has a highly convoluted surface, so more neurons can be packed into a compact space, and it is crucial for balance. The medulla oblongata is the autopilot. It directly connects the brain to the spinal cord and controls respiration, cardiovascular reflexes, and gastric secretions. This region is where life-sustaining functions are managed. Movement, coordination, and automatic vital control all meet here. A very important distinction separates the brainstem from the hindbrain. The brainstem is the connective stalk. It forms the direct physical connection between the brain and spinal cord. It includes the midbrain, pons, and medulla. The hindbrain, on the other hand, is an anatomical division. It includes the pons, medulla, and cerebellum. Here's the trap to be aware of. The cerebellum is part of the hindbrain, but it is not part of the brainstem. That distinction is a classic high-yield NEET point. If you confuse the structural division with the connective stalk, you lose easy marks. Synaptic transmission is how commands move from one neuron to the next. First, neurotransmitters are released from the axon terminal into the synaptic cleft. Then they bind to specific receptors on the postsynaptic membrane. That binding opens ion channels. Ion entry creates a new potential in the postsynaptic neuron. This new potential works like a binary switch. It can be excitatory, meaning go, or inhibitory, meaning stop. That is the basis of neural communication. Chemical release, receptor binding, channel opening, and electrical result. Everything comes together in the quick review matrix. The forebrain contains the corpus callosum, which connects the left and right hemispheres. It also contains association areas for memory, communication, and higher integration. The hypothalamus regulates temperature, hunger, thirst, and the neural endocrine link. The midbrain contains the corpora quadrigemina, the four round swellings on the dorsal side. The hindbrain contains the cerebellum for balance and the medulla for automatic control of respiration, cardiac reflexes, and gastric secretions. And the meninges are remembered as DAP, dura, arachnoid, pia. That matrix is your final revision layer. If the structure, function, and location are clear, the chapter becomes easy to recall under pressure.